4 days at AT&T Stadium, we crowned 12 state champions. We had a three-peat. We had back-to-back. We had first-time champs. We had a zebra win it all and a Hail Mary to finish off the season. It'll go down as one of the greatest attended state title spectaculars in history. Nearly 230,000 people came through the door, and over hundreds of thousands watched it on our Fox family of networks. And we welcome you into Scoreboard Live from the Catbird seats in the Western Concourse, just above the end zone here where we just saw history. Rick Renner alongside Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. Come on, Tep, we knew Galena Park North Shore was going to win all along because all of the teams, all 12 of them that won the coin toss, won the game.
I've been sitting here kind of quietly for the past couple of minutes. That's after I got done freaking out. What a spectacle, and what a way to end it.
Well, let's get to the spectacle and show why you were so entertained. Let's go to the highlights of this heavyweight battle. Duncanville in its first title game in 20 years. Mustangs 2-0 in state title games. Last won it in 2015. Governor Greg Abbott was here for the coin toss. So good to see him. He's a 1976 graduate of Duncanville. So we pick this thing up in the first quarter. Demetrius Davis looking deep, and he'll hit Shadrack Banks, who puts it in the banks from 51 yards. North Shore went for two. They got it. They're up 15-10.
Some of the throws that Demetrius Davis made in this game were absolutely insane, and he hits Banks again here.
On 2nd and 23, and look at Banks turn on the Jets. He would not get caught here. He goes 80 yards, had 179 in the game and 2 touchdowns. North Shore up 29-20 at the break. We go to the fourth quarter now, and the leads would just keep going back and forth. Tristan Smith runs it in for 52 yards, his third of the game. He had 152 in the game.
North Shore threw every haymaker they had, and Duncanville had a response every single time. This was a heavyweight slugfest.
Then the ensuing North Shore drive. Davis finds Jordan Revels wide open. He's a D lineman. He was the defensive MVP in this game. North Shore is up 35-30. Under 2 minutes to go. And check out Smith. He will run it in for 31 yards. Look at the beauty. They just have so much speed and ability on this field, down to the North Shore 15. Then later in the drive, Jaquindon Jackson on the carry. He would be brought down, but a face mask penalty would keep it going. And then moments later, Jackson would capitalize. He ran 18 times for 226 yards. The 2-point conversion try was no good. Panthers up by 1.
A warrior, an absolute warrior, and it looked like it was church for Duncanville.
Both teams leaving it on the field, and then at the end, with seconds to go, check out Davis, the Hail Mary, and A.J. Carter somehow comes down with it with the touchdown. Now the play would be reviewed, and they were checking to see if Davis crossed the line. Your entire body has to cross the line of scrimmage. It did not. They call it a 45-yard walk-off touchdown. Davis went 19 of 28 for 333 yards, offensive MVP with 5 touchdowns. And how about Carter? Wow, North Shore's second title in 3 years. Let's get some happy post-game reaction.
I know you guys probably don't have many words right now, but what was the plan on that play?
I mean, we call timeout. We work it in practice on a Hail Mary, but it's called a Hail Mary for a reason. And they threw it up, and this kid's living right.
It was the game that nobody should have lost. Jalen Preston not able to get in to take charge, and Highland Park would come back. They were chasing the entire second half to win back-to-back state championships. 53-49 to finish off the drive for 5. John Stephen Jones giving the Jones family their second championship in this building. And Randy Allen, wow, hoisting that UIL trophy once again as the celebration continues behind us at AT&T Stadium. Hey, man, it takes a while to get valet when you're Highland Park, but, wow, congratulations to the Highland Park Scots. I can't believe what we just seen. I mean, I've been doing this for 2 decades. This has to be the greatest state championship game we've ever seen. Back and forth and back and forth. Welcome in to our Ford Championship live coverage. Ken Purcell, Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. I'm Rick Renner. Guys, I think they just scored again.
What do you even say about that?
When it came to crunch time, we did not make the plays.
All right, he's speechless.
What do you even say?
Don't talk. Let's go right to the highlights because it's probably going to take us a little while to get through these. We're going to pick them up in the second half. It's the only way to do it. John Stephen Jones looking to make it back-to-back. Third quarter, Paxton Alexander runs it in from 10 yards out. Highland Park down 21-18 after a successful two-point conversion. Later in the third, the Manville with Kason Martin to Jalen Preston, a 7-yard score. What a great one-handed catch there, guys.
This was a fantastic play from an individual effort here, going up and getting it, hauling it in with one hand, and that is the kind of athleticism that was on display for Manville all night.
The talent that they have is unreal. Then the ensuing Scots possession, Jones to Alexander, and he will hurdle a defender. Are you kidding me? He gained 26 yards. That would keep the drive going.
Well, he's making plays.
Yep.
Just what I talked about. When they had to make a play, they made a play.
Paxton Alexander has done this all year long. Later in the drive, JSJ to Jay Smith, a 4-yard touchdown, and JSJ would be fired up. Highland Park cuts the deficit to 3. They were chasing a field goal that they didn't attempt all game, down 28-25. Late in the third, Martin airing it out to Colby Washington. He will break a tackle and score a touchdown. A quick strike for 62 yards.
Manville was a fireworks factory in this game. They were hitting big play after big play. Kason Martin on the money to his speedy receiver, and it just looked like Manville was going to hold Highland Park at arm's length all game.
Martin was unconscious back there. Then in the fourth quarter, Jones to Alexander, deep down the middle of the field, and he would be off to the races again, all the way down to the Manville 6-yard line. Alexander picks up 80 yards on the play, guy. Then the next play, Bernard Page turns the page from 6 yards out. Highland Park just kept having answers. Now down a field goal again, 35-32. The ensuing Mavs possession, Martin will connect with Jalen Preston, and he will turn on the Jets 95 yards. This is the longest passing touchdown in 5A state championship history.
They score quick, they run long, and then Highland Park turns around and keeps punching.
Back up 10, but here comes Jones, rolling, finding Cade Sawstead, the big guy, an 8-yard touchdown.
He was sensational in this game. He was John Stephen Jones' security blanket. When he needed a big play, he turned to 88.
Highland Park down 3 again. Then the ensuing kickoff, Cam Scott will field this. He's going to the University of Missouri. I know you're loving that, Mr. Tepper. And he will go 97 yards for the touchdown. Yet another record set. Longest kickoff return ever on this level in a state title game.
It's unreal. This was the unbelievable end of this game.
I thought that was the dagger. I'll be honest. I thought that was the dagger, and it was church for Highland Park from there. I thought there was no way they come back from that.
And you know, JSJ says no big deal. I'll just punch it in from the 1-yard line. Scots still in this, down 49-46. Some Highland Park faithful left the building, but they came back in. Here comes Sawstead again with a huge onside kick recovery. That's how you stop Manville. You just kick an onside kick.
That's execution. That's practice. That makes it work.
Then 1:11 to go, facing a 4th and 15. JSJ to Finn Corwin, who makes the grab, hits the Texas Farm Bureau insurance sign. He's got cramps. He's out of the game. Jones 58 passes, 564 yards. Then 2 plays later, Jones to Sawstad. Are you kidding me? He gets in for the go-ahead score.
And suddenly Highland Park, with the game seemingly out of reach, suddenly leads with seconds remaining. John Stephen Jones, the pocket presence to wait for his receiver to come open and find him, and my goodness gracious, Highland Park leads.
53-49. Could it stand up? You know how Manville is. Martin will air it out here. And Preston got to get in the end zone. Leapy catch, and he would be denied. As time expires, what an end to this one. Manville in anguish. What a great year for them as Highland Park goes on to win the 5A Division I title 53-49. The Scots go back-to-back, and the drive for 5 is complete. Let's get some reaction. CT Steckel standing by with a proud papa, Stephen Jones.
Rick, thanks. Here with Stephen Jones. talk to me about the heart of your son, man. This team was down all day long, and yet he found a way to get it done at the end. Proud parents right here. How's it feel?
Doesn't get any better. I mean, these are the life lessons you learn from the game of football.
What a week it was as we crowned 12 new state champions in 4 days of triple headers. Unbelievable, incredible individual performances, first-time champions. We had a coach that won his 200th game and his first state championship. Teams that went back-to-back. And teams that won 3 and 4 years like Galena Park North Shore. And Todd Dodge going off into the sunset of retirement. 3 straight state championship, 40 wins in a row as Austin Westlake wins the 6A Division II state championship game. What a storybook ending for the Chaparrals as we wrap up our 4 days of triple headers and state champions. And we're going to talk about all of them here on the state championship edition of High School Scoreboard Live. We welcome you into the show. I'm Rick Renner. Craig Way will join us shortly. He is the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, the one and only Greg Tepper. Well, if you could write a movie, I mean, this is probably how it would end for Todd Dodge, right? You go out on top with your superstar quarterback graduating with you. Todd going off into retirement. His superstar quarterback 30-0 as a starter as he goes off to Clemson. Talking about Cade Klubnik and 3 straight state championships.
Yeah, the most dominant program in 6A right now. They have been absolutely fantastic, and it's not just because of Cade Klubnik. They have big-time playmakers everywhere that you look.
How about this game, though? A lot different than all the experts thought it would be. I mean, I look at, Denton Geyer. This is the first team that actually led a game against Austin Westlake all season. They never trailed. They were never in a close game all year. I mean, even Lake Travis was a blowout for them.
Yeah, let's be honest. I think a lot of people thought this was going to be a no contest.
And the one thing that he told us on High School Scoreboard Live is how much he has enjoyed the ride this year.
Yeah.
Not as much pressure. His kids, the seniors, kind of coach themselves. He says he sat back and enjoyed this. Of course, his assistant, Tony Salazar, is going to take over, hopefully. And that seems like the plan, the defensive coordinator. But he has really enjoyed the ride in getting his 7th ring. And you think about his legacy. His daughter talked about how he's one of the best, and everybody learns from him. We can't forget about 79-1 at South Lake Carroll, 4 state championships in 5 years. As a player in the Port Arthur, the Golden Triangle area, he was a guy that was the first quarterback in state history to throw for 3,000 yards. Every quarterback does that now because of some of the offenses that he ran and all the great quarterbacks that he's coached over the years.
He was an innovator. He'll be bothering his son, who, of course, is the head coach at South Lake Carroll.
Yeah, and he wants to go watch his son and see all his grandbabies.
Yeah.
He's big on that. And of course, see his mom, who's getting up there as well. Well, obviously, offense is the way it goes when you talk about Austin Westlake, but defense has been the key all year this year. It's been one of the best defenses in Class 6A, and that defense really held things together in the first half. They were able to put 9 sacks on the board, Tep. That's absolute dominance from a defense that has been that way all year.
Yeah, they were consistently bothering, pestering, pressuring, getting to Jackson Arnold.
Road to the championship has been a windy and a bumpy one, but we leave AT&T Stadium with 12 state champions that will live in eternity, forever in their communities. There's nothing better than being called a state champion. By the Hall of Famer, Craig Way, who's done so many of our state championship games. What a year it's been, guys. I mean, unbelievable. We've seen 10 defending state champions go down along the way, 6 number 1s, and Austin Westlake, 3 in a row.
There's so much that's been said about trying to return to normalcy. And
we always wondered what would happen if they got pushed a little bit and actually got some competition in a game. That has not been the case, as they have not trailed all year. Well, let's show you how it all shook out in Todd Dodge's last hurrah as head coach. He is graduating with the seniors to retirement after this game. Austin Westlake's offense averaging nearly 58 points per game in their vaulted D, just giving up 8 points a game. First quarter, Wildcats line up for the punt. Bad snap. Jackson Pirtle gets it. Oh, punt! Blocked by Will Maggots, and unbelievable, he walks in for 6.
Yeah, this felt like it was going to be the start of an avalanche from Westlake, but give Geyer a lot of credit. They had stomach for this fight.
6-0 Chaparrals. Then Jackson Arnold will keep it here, make a man miss, gallops into the end zone. Arnold gives Geyer the 7-6 lead. First time we've seen Austin Westlake trail all year. Later in the first quarter, Cade Klubnik, he'll connect with his favorite target, Jaden Greathouse, and that was pretty darn great for 62 yards and the score.
Yeah, you saw Jaden be able to create some separation, and once he made the catch, there was the separation. Then he's going to turn on the Jets, and he's going to be awfully hard to tackle, as we would see throughout the course of the evening.
So we move on to the second quarter. This would go back and forth. Arnold finds Jace Wilson. 9-yard touchdown strike. Arnold 18 for 27, 183 yards. Geyer up 14-13 at intermission. We go to the third frame now. Klubnik rolling, and looking. He finds Bryce Chambers for the 15-yard score. Westlake up 20-14 at that point. The ensuing Geyer possession, Arnold keeps it, fights his way in for the 6-yard touchdown. 32 carries, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the Wildcats are back on top 21-20, Craig.
Well, one thing you had to be impressed was how well Geyer responded. And then how about the Westlake response? 53 big ones from Charlie Barnett.
Yeah, we didn't even know if they were going to kick that and try it. They should have. I mean, he could have kicked it from 60, it almost looked like. 1:30 to go into the third. Klubnik throwing it deep here, and he connects to Greathouse again. 69 yards on the TD strike there.
They were finally able to take the top off of this Geyer defense, and Jaden Greathouse is certainly a guy who can do that. If you give him a step, he's going to take a mile, and Cade Klubnik in the bucket. Goodness.
280 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He also had 60 yards on the ground. 30-21 after 3 for Westlake. Then in the fourth, Klubnik looking. And who else? Oh, it's going to be Jaden Greathouse, of course. He's got like a million offers. He will take it and coast for 6. Klubnik and Greathouse, they connected on TDs of 62, 69, 71 yards. And Greathouse sets a new 6A state game record with 236 receiving yards. And look at the final numbers. What jumped out to you, Craig, in a game that was really back and forth in the first half, the first 3 quarters?
Well, you can look at things like yards per play and the rushing yards, but it's the thing at the bottom.
Yep.
9 sacks. Jackson Arnold proved to all of us that he wasn't the Jackson Arnold who was a freshman in this game 2 seasons ago. It was definitely a more grown-up Jackson Arnold, and he played very, very well. Eventually, the plan was going to be for Bailey to have an opportunity to take over the starting quarterback. They had to accelerate the plan a little bit, and Bailey was equal to the task.
Yeah, and I think it helped, too, that his brother is a senior, and that helped him along. And those two, the Bailey brothers, were able to connect on a touchdown on the biggest stage in the biggest classification here at AT&T Stadium. Let's take a timeout here on High School Scoreboard Live. When we come back, we're talking Class 5A. So many great storylines. A father-son against a school in its 4th year of existence, and a Dallas inner-city school against the SWAT team. Highlights and reaction as we roll on from AT&T.